How we doing, fellas?
Phenomenal.
Good.
Phenomenal. Good.
Like Andy Dufresne sitting on top of the tar factory.
Let's go. As
Mm.
Andy famously said in that movie.
Yeah.
So we're 4-0. Went to Oklahoma and got the job done. Discuss.
Shout out Oklahoma
Why?
because they did what they were supposed to do and they lost.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I think you're just doing that for your Oklahoma buddies, Kyle.
Yeah.
My little feelers are going up.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess I'll kick it off. I'm happy with how we played. I know we'll get into the pros and cons and what we thought of the second half and stuff, but for me, in my house, I think that we did we did good, and I think that it was very very good that the way we won. I like the way we won. For me, overall, we can get into this later, but I think that I think my big takeaway is I think I saw Josh Heupel go from like being an elite play caller to a really good head coach.
Yes, sir.
So,
Hard to disagree with that. I wanted that one bad.
Did
I wanted that one as bad or more than our traditional rivals.
why?
Just the 2015 game is probably as hard as I've ever put on as a Tennessee fan. Might have said that in the show. And like just the loudest and most consistent hardest I've ever yelled. Most that I want, like I wanted that game to be a gigantic firework in the sky saying we're back. And then the way it turned out resulted in me being genuinely wondering, are we ever actually going to be good at football again for the first time?
I mean, that was
Man.
the Make Tennessee Great Again hat game, wasn't it?
Yep, we've
Was
come full
that-
circle.
It was indeed.
Now Tennessee is now great.
Took 9 years,
Yes.
but 2 administrations. But
Overjoyed. Absolutely wonderful in the result and the way it happened. Kyle's exactly right. Josh really showed some high level chops.
yeah, I'm with Chris. I really wanted this game. I feel like for Oklahoma, like you're gonna come into this conference and pretend you're a big boy. Show some damn respect. Okay, other fan bases, other teams, we've been here, and like we go through this every year. Like, don't come in here and act like you're a world beater and all this stuff. Like, I'm gonna apologize. My behavior during this game on Saturday was uncalled for.
Matt,
thought-
you could just kept that a secret.
No. I mean, I'll admit it. I was upset. I thought Heupel went soft on him. I thought he was auditioning for that job. I thought he was saying, "Hey, it's all good. Y'all fired me. It's okay. Come knocking. I'm coming home." I was mad and slept it off. And the next morning, seeing Oklahoma fans being like, "Oh, well, we only lost by 10. Oh, yeah, you're like, shut up. Just shut up. We could have beat you all
Let
by
them be,
40 if
Matt.
we
I mean,
wanted to."
we've been there. It happens.
No. You show some respect when you come in our conference.
I think
Where was the SEC founded? Norman, Oklahoma? No.
Arrogant
One
hotel,
one
by
of the
God.
messages during the game or right after the game that I really enjoyed from you, Matt, in the group chat was Josh Heupel purposely left the door open for him to go back and be
Yeah.
coach.
That's what I thought. I was like, oh, he doesn't want to embarrass him. Yeah. I was mad. Caleb, what'd you think?
I mean, I thought it was great. I
You
just loved reverting to 1988 football. I just run, punt it. That just I haven't seen that in so long. I mean, we have seen run, punt, but not in a win.
We haven't broke out the old Fulmer bone in a minute.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it, but Those late touchdowns really just put me over the edge. I was
No, Matt.
They did not bother me because they never had a chance.
Yeah.
When they missed the first extra point after getting a penalty on the 2-point try, and it was still 9-22. It's probably the happiest I was the whole game, aside from the Nico throw.
Yeah.
Just good gravy.
Jackson Ross, though, I know we said run, punt, but man, that guy was lights out. He's incredible. All-American, in my opinion. I don't know if there are any other great punters, but what a performance.
Got a real our team. Jackson Moy was just a man.
The whole defensive line. The defense, like, that's why I was mad about those late touchdowns, because it's like, guys, just give up already. Like, you're not going to win. Like, cool. Your coaches made a dumb decision starting this clown. Like, just stop. But they didn't.
Yeah.
We were clearly playing with our food for more or less a whole half. Were we playing with our food on defense? I've seen stats
it up in the fourth when we were up 3 scores with like whatever it was, 8 minutes left. And we softened up the defense because the only thing that could beat us at that point is a big play.
Yeah. And I think
so. We went.
Well, I was just going to say that I rewatched the game. I don't know if any of you guys rewatched it, but I think it was like Sunday night or something. I just put it back on just to watch. And one thing I noticed on the second go around is that watching it without the stress and anxiety of watching it live, I think we dominated more in the game than I thought we did on the first go around. And I even called Chris afterwards, and I was like, man, there's like 3 or 4 plays that we made that were like called back for like weird penalties. And that one play that Nico fumbled at his own 5-yard line, the strip sack fumble, like Sampson just clearly missed the block. It was Sampson's fault. And when Nico's loading up to throw it long, there's an overhead shot in the replay that you see our slot wide receiver streaking wide open. And, like, if you have an extra half second and Nico is on target, which I assume he would be, that ball is at the 50-yard line or in the end zone. You know?
When watching that and seeing that he was going to chuck that ball deep, I was so mad. I was like, gosh, I wanted to see that.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just thinking, if Sampson makes that block, that's a huge play. And then also you can say maybe the phantom holding call with the big Thornton catch and run. Mm-hmm. Like we're 2 plays away from having 40 points, and
Oklahoma was 2 plays away from it being a 1-possession game. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. Like, I really do feel like that Josh Heupel saw, like, our offensive line is just mashed to pieces right now, and Oklahoma can't score, and we've not even hit this yet. That field condition was awful. Like, even for Oklahoma, everybody was slipping and sliding. And, like, freaking Squirrel White couldn't catch a punt without slipping and falling on his elbows. So it was like, just run the ball. They can't score. Let's get back home and just count it a win.
I mean, that one Oklahoma guy, like, what, he hurt his ankle, his knee, something?
He, like, broke his leg or something, right?
Yeah. And that divot, like, on the field, like, what are you guys doing over there? Like, that was... I did like Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say he did have an entire Tennessee defensive tackle compressing him from the top, or left tackle compressing him from the top. Yeah. I think that created divot in most those pieces of turf.
I forget who made the point, but I do think that kind of also played into our second half play calling. So we're down 2 tackles, like.
Oh yeah.
Guy broke his leg. Everybody's slipping. Like, you're gonna win. So I did like that. Once I
What did you
consumed
think?
some of the national media takes on that Sunday, I was fine. I was fine.
Oh, yeah,
Plus,
they
Oklahoma
were.
fans, y'all are clowns. All right, go ahead.
Word I got was that a universally good experience from the Oklahoma fans. A lot of camaraderie there. Everybody that seems to have posted and talked about their time there, they loved it. Said Oklahoma was great.
Yeah, I've heard like a
They're-
bunch of people saying that like our fans that went there were just like, yo, I don't even think that Oklahoma understands they're in the SEC and you're supposed to hate other teams because they're super nice to us and they're offering food and drinks and super nice. So we did have a massive turnout though. Like there's a lot of orange in that crowd, and even my Oklahoma friends that were watching on TV in Oklahoma saying, "Yo, we can hear, Tennessee singing Rocky Top and stuff like that in the crowd." So
My favorite was one of the Brews big catches. You could very loudly hear our fans.
Yes.
yeah,
Very, very, very proud of them. Sounded great on TV. But I'm one. Someone did say something I thought extremely wise. I got pretty sick of hearing about this is Oklahoma's introduction to the SEC. I don't give a shit about the SEC. That was Oklahoma's introduction to Tennessee. Their reintroduction to the real Tennessee. Their reintroduction to the real Tennessee. You were playing some phantom, some unknowable, unloved phantom a decade ago. This is what it really is. I don't care about carrying the SEC banner into Norman and welcoming them. I got so tired with that storyline.
It didn't bother me. I really don't care. But
Caleb, you're a calm, collected, and centered
I
person.
don't see the way they care. What about the story? What about the Josh Heupel storyline and all the emotions after the game?
That locker room speech he gave, I loved it. And then when Nico gave him that game ball, like seeing Heupel like do that little dance, oh my god! Like I'll watch that like 5 times a day. Like I just love that. I hope every touchdown we score this year, like that's the celebration. Just hold that. Oh, love it. I love that dude. I love him.
I really enjoyed. We love you, Coach.
Yeah. Even though you just gave this speech about how this wasn't about you, we did this for you. Like, okay.
The vibes are immaculate. They are crazy good right now.
But I mean, defense, like, just solid. They are so good. Rod McCoy.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Jacoby Thomas, like these secondary guys we got, like yeah, there were big question marks, but I think they've answered everything we've questioned about them. Like, incredible.
So far.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Can we take one back?
Oklahoma wasn't exactly like a great test, but
I mean, I'm not saying that they're like the best defenders in the nation, but I definitely think they're serviceable, and I don't worry about them in any game. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
I want to park here real quick and just talk about this one debated topic coming out of this game, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it. Is on the rewatch too? Like, I don't subscribe to the full on, I guess, overall national thought that Oklahoma was just so inept on the offense, and Jackson Arnold was just all his turnovers were so unenforced or unforced turnovers. I really think outside of the lateral pass that he made, that it would count as a backwards pass and fumble. Like, we forced all the other turnovers on him.
We forced that one too.
His interception was McCoy baited him into throwing that with a really good defensive coverage, and then we strip sacked him and ripped the ball. I mean, it's like, yeah, like the only one that I could see was just him making a dumb mistake is the lateral pass.
That was the
But
funniest
he
play
did
of the
that.
night.
Did it with 3 guys coming full charge
Yeah.
at him while he's backing up. Yeah, we forced
I'm gonna
that.
say when they went to that
That was
backup
us.
quarterback, I was like, "This is it. It's the same story. It just took a while to get back here. Here we go. This guy's gonna come in, and he's gonna win the Heisman in this one performance." Like, I was so worried.
Until he went 3 and
Yeah.
out on 4 consecutive
Yeah.
drives. I mean, it was like within the first couple of plays for our session, they are conceding. They are trying to build for the rest of the season because they know what they got ain't gonna do it. They were white flagging and maybe throwing up a prayer. They knew it, and we knew it, and everyone knew it. It just took a little longer for a lot of us to catch the message.
Yeah.
So would y'all say that game was more about Oklahoma just being so bad on offense, or Tennessee's defense causing them to be bad?
I think our defense, because there's a lot of teams out there that don't have good offensive lines, but at the end of the day, it's still a 320-pound guy out there whose one job is to just block. And a lot of teams manage to do that to where they get more than, what were they, 36 yards rushing. A lot of teams can do that, but they couldn't do anything. I mean,
I think it's both. Oklahoma has sucked on offense all year, not to the degree they sucked against us, but I don't think their offense is good. I think our defense is incredible. So,
I mean, yeah, I think it is a combination of both, but I think our defense at a higher percentage. Cat,
Well, on the scales, yeah, our defense, I like Cole Kubelik said it best, and you could see it very clearly on TV. When our D line lined up against their O line, it looked like high school against the junior varsity. We were just bigger, meaner, faster, leaner. It was just a complete mismatch. And visually, it was that. It was like Georgia lining up against the 2021 team. That's the biggest disparity I've ever seen in my life watching Tennessee football until that game.
Did y'all see that clip of Tim Banks in the press box, like grabbing that dude's headset? What do you think he said? What do you think sparked that?
Oh, and another thing.
Well, I think they were trying to get like a play call in, and the person beside him didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
I think the words that he said, I imagine, would be gibberish to us.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see, like, at what point in the game, like, what was happening, because, I don't know. That looks scary. Cat, will you quit? What are you doing?
Jeez.
I'm sorry. Any other Oklahoma talk?
nice to see Dante Thornton have a nice game.
Yeah. My pick to click.
Would have liked to see Brazel continue to do things, but that just wasn't in the cards. Are we at all worried about Nico?
So I was about to ask, like, how do we view Nico's performance?
I'm not worried about Nico at all.
I'm not.
Caleb is level-headed.
Of course, yeah, he's gonna make mistakes, but like he's gonna make way more plays that outweigh that. And he's gonna get better. Like it's probably the first time he's seen a defense line up like that. I mean, I was about to say the best defense he's seen, but Iowa was pretty good.
Man.
So
Watson Brown today on Tony. Hearing him break down that, I was like, oh my god.
Matt, we shouldn't talk about the competition on our show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There is no competition. We all support each other.
Love you, Tony. Just hearing him break that down, like, I was blown away. No, I'm not worried about Nico. I am a little worried about his pocket presence, I guess, like how he just stands there.
It's very
that's more my question. Like, where are those not design runs, but he against Iowa when a play would break down, he kind of had the quick twitch to get upfield and get yards.
Man, I felt like he
We
did
just
that early, but he kind of went away from it.
I did it like one time, yeah.
I
But
mean, once we got
he
up 2 scores, there was no reason to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I don't
maybe just
understand.
trusting his blockers.
Hopefully they told him that they'll bench him if he does after seeing that field.
Perhaps that's really true.
I would say I love that, like, even when he has a meh like performance, he still produces like one of the best throws I've ever seen the Tennessee quarterback make. Like that 66-yard slant to Thornton was ridiculously on target. Like I was telling Chris on the phone, like it wasn't even just in stride, but it hit Thornton with his when his hand was pumping in the right position. Like it was just like
Just like he drew
ridiculous.
it up.
You know, like it was insane.
It was perfection.
Yeah.
That
It was-
catch by McCoy on that deep ball was incredible.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
don't know
realize how
how
good
it-
it was until I
Yeah.
seeing the still shots of it.
Yeah, it was crazy. But I think Nico, and I don't know if this is true or not. It's just what somebody was saying on one of the shows I was listening to. That was like comparing like should Nico now be better than Hooker was in 2022, and they're like, well, no, because Hooker was a fifth-year senior who started for multiple schools and multiple games and multiple seasons. But the stat that I heard that I don't even know if it's true or not, but it's kind of wild if it is Nico at Oklahoma was only his 20th start in football, like including high school. That was just his 20th game. So if that's true, he's far beyond what he should be in his 20th start. So hopefully this like bye week where he's in, from all accounts, everybody says that this is probably the second or third best defense in Oklahoma that we're going to see all season. So it's something that's outside of Georgia and Alabama. You know, he should be good.
I hope they're installing a rear view camera on him as we speak.
Yeah. It does worry me. Oof.
I don't know.
I feel like there are red flags, but I mostly agree with Caleb that these are going to either improve or become less as the season goes along.
I mean, the great thing is the red flags at this point in our program are like we would have never noticed those things 5 years ago. Like we're talking like our problems are small.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that worries me is he's not had that game like 2022 Pitt where it's kind of back and forth. We had to have scores late, and we've not had that type of game yet. And that kind of worries me a little bit. Like Alabama, if you're in what's so funny?
No, I'm laughing because I know what Caleb's thinking.
Yeah. Go ahead, Caleb.
Well, let's just keep winning by double digits. We don't have to worry about it.
Okay, well, let's just do that then.
You want us to have
Right.
a close game against Arkansas so Nico can get some experience?
Yes.
Matt, what you're looking for, Matt, is a scenario where we actually have to put the game in Nico's hands.
Yeah, and I want him to be
you
ready
wanna-
for that situation.
You want to see him do it. I kind of agree with
You
you.
wanna
You can't be
Feel
ready
it.
until you have one, and there's no point in intentionally having one. So.
See, Matt, I hope you're happy. Hope
What-
you have fun.
Here's another scenario that we can throw out. Like, I'm not too scared of his slow progression because if he came out to be the world beater, the Jesus of quarterbacks that everybody thought he was going to be to start the game or to start the season, he would be for sure gone at the end of the next season and be the number one pick in the draft.
Oh,
He
think
could
we're
just
slow rolling him?
he could just slowly progress where he has to stay for another year. He has to stay for, and we might
Well, he got that redshirt year, Kyle. Maybe he's got 3 more years.
That's what I'm saying is like everybody right now before the season started, they're like, "Hey, Nico is so good. We only have him for this year and next year."
I
But
don't know.
maybe he's just not that amazing enough where he's a lock at next year's draft.
I think he learned too much under Joe Milton last year for us to worry about that. That was a joke, by the way. All right. Yeah.
More red flags. If we're trying to go conservative and we're trying to possess the ball and bleed the clock, why are we not converting on third down? Why are we?
Because Heupel wants the Oklahoma job.
Are you claiming we intentionally didn't get third down?
I'm saying there's a difference between conservative and the kind of conservative that we did.
I think the thing we were most worried about was Nico getting our tackles completely whiffing and someone hitting Nico, hurting him, another turnover. And when you get in third down, that's when it's most likely to happen.
Yeah. There's only
we didn't even try that little shovel pass.
We didn't even try.
Secret Bama playbook.
We're down to 4 plays at most, and it scared me.
There was only 2 times where I was I questioned the play calling. I guess it was like 3rd and 8, and we ran for 4 yards or 3 yards, and I think we did that twice. It was like a 3rd and 8 and like a 3rd and 7, where we just gave it to Sampson or Bishop for 2 or 3 yards. But other than that, I mean, again, I think they were just playing ball control and punt it and win the game.
Yeah, I think there was only about 2 times. Same here.
Yeah, I mean, the point is Oklahoma was never scoring 22 points. They were never, ever going to do that. So what's the point in throwing on third down?
Here is one thing I think that's good that I heard is Josh Heupel was telling the staff after the game that hindsight 2020, going back, he would have went for 2 and made it 20-3, not 18-3. And Heupel said, "Hey, next time we're in this position, please call me out on that and remind me to go for 2 because we should have went for 2."
Yeah, because his mind was elsewhere. So, man, how many seats can I add to the stadium?
I enjoyed very much the Zapruder film kind of thing that they got right between Nico and Josh, and Josh telling him, "Yeah, I dialed it back a little bit."
I was so confused by that clip, but why would Heupel only have told him after the game was over? Don't you think that was something they discussed at halftime?
Heupel was probably off meeting boosters at halftime. He can go in there.
I was getting tired of the TV guys just repetitive. I think they said it 4 or 5 times that Brent Venables in Oklahoma, they've been focusing on Tennessee's offense into January. My God.
Good job.
Yeah.
Sorry you didn't win your Super Bowl. The real pisser.
I'm sick of Kirk Herbstreit. At this point, just put his damn dog up there and let him bark the whole game. I'm so sick of him. And Chris
I understand
Fowler.
where you're coming from, but Fowler did a tremendous job.
I like Fowler, but man, Herbstreit.
Go back and watch the highlights that they put out on Sunday morning with all the Bob calls of all the highlights.
I saw you post that.
Yesterday with Fowler, and it's night and day.
Yeah, I couldn't listen to the Bob one, which I'm kind of sad because that's what I got to do next week when we play Arkansas. So I got to listen to him.
Well, it might be your last time listening. Right?
Touchdown Nico Iamaleava to Chris Brazzell for 19 yards.
What a play.
Yeah, Bob, that was a great throw, a great catch, and a great touchdown for Tennessee.
Let's go to Brent Hubbs on the sideline for an injury report. Yeah, thanks, Bob.
All right. Before we completely move on from Oklahoma, what do you guys think about Oklahoma moving forward? I know we're obviously kind of rooting for them to win to help our strength of schedule, but how do you think they're going to go moving forward?
I think they'll be decent. I
see them 6, 7, 8 wins.
I don't remember their schedule off the top of my head, but I think their defense is good enough to keep them in most games.
They're at Auburn this week.
They'll beat Auburn.
You sure?
They got Texas. They got Alabama at home.
Auburn,
They got-
Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Maine, Missouri, Alabama, LSU. That's kind of
Watch out
rough.
for the Bears. Maine Bears are rough too.
Tried to get. I mean, I don't know. They could beat LSU. I think.
Can they beat South Carolina?
Yes.
Can they beat Ole Miss?
I don't know.
Do we need them to beat Ole Miss?
Yes.
Might
I don't
need
know.
that.
Yeah.
Missouri.
Jeez, Missouri.
They got a tough little SEC schedule.
Yeah, they do have a hard schedule.
They're in a bad spot if they can't get quarterback and something figured out on offensive line. Otherwise, yeah, defense great. Their punter was excellent. Yeah, they're just they have a solidly built one half of a team. The big picture for Oklahoma is as this new SEC starts to marinate and come together, I want them to emerge as a new and interesting rival, more than Texas. I like them a lot. I respect them a lot. Oklahoma just has a certain kind of mystique for me. I view them like I view Kansas in basketball. That's a game that's just one I want a lot more than most.
The only things I respect about Oklahoma are Reed Timmer and Jim Ross. The rest of them, I don't care.
I'm kind of the opposite. Like, I guess because I have Oklahoma buddies, but like, I would think it'd be hilarious if Oklahoma kind of just turned into a Kentucky.
I mean, tactically that would be cool, but we could enjoy just beating them then, and them getting all mad at us like Kentucky does. Oklahoma is a welcome and viable brother in this dumb conference of ours.
Yeah,
and
I think they're on the path to hiring a new coach at some point. So it just depends on who their new coach is going to be.
Writing is on the wall.
Yeah,
Shazar. Who are we going to get?
Let's go. Shout out to the Spotify listener that said they appreciated my should have been a cowboy joke last week, by the way.
Who was that?
You
I don't know. It's some weird like ID with numbers, so figured it was one of y'all.
I was hoping it's our German listener.
Yeah, I woke up at like 3 a.m. and was like, comment on Spotify. I was like, what? Felt pretty good.
Like that.
Did you actually comment yourself?
No, I don't have Spotify.
I'm going to clip that.
I don't. Everybody still use Pandora? What?
Good on you, Matt. Stay away from it.
Any more talks about
any other news or notes?
Feels like there should be more. Why is it not coming to mind? Maybe because it was a boring but excellent game.
Get well soon, Lance Hurd and John Cannon.
Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about Lance Glass.
I feel like we should.
Shame on you.
Be more charitable, Lance Glass.
Shame on you.
Just hope he gets well soon. Here, I mean that's.
This needs to be a good reek of R&R, getting that boo-boo took care of, and we need you, buddy. Nico.
I know we don't believe in jinxes here, but something's going to happen here if we don't. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, I know Matt cut a promo on Herb Street, but shout out Herb Street for calling Oklahoma unethical for faking injuries.
VFL, the John Terry.
Yeah.
Wonder where he learned that. Must have been Kansas.
He did have a pretty unconvincing fall, I must say. We didn't even teach him to be a lay-down lineman very well. Who was our lay-down lineman for this one? Didn't it happen a couple of times?
Bison Lang was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jackson, they're on to you. Don't do it.
Gotta switch it up. it's still very sad to me that our literal lay down lineman Sham is gone.
This is odd, though. The whole field goal team is looking to the sideline for the play call. I think it'd be pretty obvious. Is that it for Oklahoma, please? Shout out to Matt, who had Pick to Click, Dante Thornton, and final score 25-15. Good job.
My goodness, Matt.
No, Kyle had
Bravo.
45-17, Chris 41-20, Caleb 34-20, and I had 52-7. So Caleb wins another, I guess.
Boom.
That's what being calm and rational gets you. Well done.
You sit there and take 10-point road wins like it's birthday cake. All right, we talking about last week, or are we moving on this UNLV guy?
Say more.
UNLV guy? Did you not hear
You
about
didn't
that?
hear about this, Chris?
I've heard, and then I saw that they lost another one. I started running.
So UNLV's
What do you-
quarterback, what is his name? Slaka, John Stockton. I don't remember.
That guy don't quit.
I mean, it's kind of weird because like the university's saying no, like yeah, we paid him, and then he's saying no. All I made was like $3,000, I guess, was what that On3 report said. But just a weird, wild story.
My favorite bit about it was how the usual suspects responded in the way that I would have predicted. Cole Kublik says he's a quitter. That's how Cole Kublik responds to that kind of thing. I understand that mentality. Then Essie's Peter Burns is first about like someone's got to really pay for this big time penalties, and then he has an idea bulb go off, and he's like, hold on a second. We got to think about this like a business. If somebody said that they're going to pay you for work and then they don't pay you, should you do your work? And on it went.
It has been a funny debate to see play out, but I guess reports were he had a verbal agreement for an NIL deal, but nothing on paper.
Apparently, he only had like part of like the relocation costs or whatever were the only thing that was written, and that's what they paid him. So that's why the university's saying we paid everything we promised, and he's saying, well, you verbally agreed to more.
Man, this is just such a wild story.
The lawyers apparently told UNLV, we can't get anything in writing. Everything's got to be on a handshake because we don't know how legal this is or illegal it is, or we don't know really what anything is because it's so crazy right now.
I mean, I feel bad for the guy's teammates. Like, come on, dude.
No, they went from being a favorite to an underdog in a couple of hours this week because of it.
Yeah.
Apparently the backup's pretty good though.
Well, what's crazy is like right now, as of today, this could change, but as of today, like it's them or Boise State in that 12th seed for the Group of 5.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
Shout out Memphis Tigers.
like who do they play? Like Utah Tech, Kansas, and some other Houston, right? And you're at, like, if I guess they're saying he asked for more money or something. That was one of the rumors. Was that his lawyer said, "Oh, he's actually worth this much now." Like, I don't know. This is a weird time in college sports. I really hope we don't see this happen more and more.
Well, it might, but I would say it's so unlikely to happen with us because I feel like we have our NIL crap buttoned up.
And also our culture.
I mean, who's UNLV's notable alumni? Let me look that up while you guys discuss.
I think this is gonna just end up. This is probably just like the first step towards like ironclad, almost like NFL style contracts, where a kid signs a contract, and if he changes schools, the contract travels with him.
Do you also see like, we got to pay your union dues, or you can't start this week?
No, we're just going to be NFL style contracts.
But with that will come collective bargaining for how these contracts will be structured, the pay scales, and things like that. So
I do.
like
I hope that we go into an incentive based and performance based contract scheme where it's like you don't just get a flat, 2 million, 3 million, 500,000, whatever. It's like here's your base salary that you're gonna get, and if you get X amount of wins or X amount of touchdown passes or less than this amount of interceptions, you get incentives.
Article 7, Clause 2, Subclause 3, Lance Glass. If ankle is assessed by trainer to be at 75% or greater efficiency, then must play or forfeit X percentage of contractual earnings. Something like that.
Can I get that in writing?
You went very niche.
Well, that performance means actually going and playing in the game. No doubt the guy's got an injury. If you give your all, I don't know how you quantify that in contractual language. Anybody here a lawyer?
No.
Okay, well.
All right.
So they've got like
what's next on the list?
Guy Fieri, Jimmy Kimmel, Suge Knight, Tommy Lauren, Kenny Mayne,
BFL China Green.
Did I say Eric Whitaker? Eric Whitaker. Like they've got all these alumni. Nobody can pocket up. Ryback, former WWE superstar.
Suge Knight is a UNLV rebel.
Apparently. I feel like all these people on this list were like one semester rebels, but
the color scheme's right.
Harrison Bailey.
Harrison Bailey. So let's move back now to college football. What happened? Colorado stormed the field after beating Baylor. That was fun.
Big old controversy there.
I don't even
feel like you should look if you rush the field against Baylor, but it was Colorado, and of course I tend to think of Colorado as having a pretty good history. What a championship in the 90s, for God's sake. But they have not been much of late.
Were they
so maybe it was
cool. Were they the team that benefited from the fifth down? Yeah. That's what I thought.
Or were they who got screwed? Was it Missouri? Missouri? Who was the opponent in that one?
I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. Colorado should not be rushing the field against Baylor, but I don't mind that they did.
I don't really remember any of the other games this Saturday.
Vandy choked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't have Sarah Fuller kicking.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd bring that joke.
Where'd that kicker? What high school kicker go to? Is it an Knoxville boy?
McGavick.
Oh!
McGavick's, the national one.
All right. USC
Illinois.
choke.
Oh yeah,
Butch lit an egg in Ames, 52-7.
Can you believe that?
Kent State's two quarterbacks are done for the year after playing Penn State. That's brutal.
That was. Sorry, beautiful hair. That's a bad beat.
Yeah.
Miami being in a sort of like game-ish with South Florida, and then just.
We had
kind of
the Liv Moss Classic in BYU.
That's incredible.
What? When you guys were talking about it's so funny they tweeted that. I was like, why? And then I remember, for them to tweet that, that's pretty funny.
That was tremendous. The social teams across the country are getting very, very adept. Mississippi State Florida allowing 28 points to Mississippi State might have been the most embarrassing thing they did this year. Mississippi State is so bad.
I was honestly surprised Florida won that. I mean, I know Mississippi State's bad, but in the state that Florida's in, I was like, well, okay.
Not at all. Are all of you aware that Rutgers is undefeated?
I saw, who did they beat?
They beat Virginia Tech this
That's
week
right,
after their
yeah.
quarterback arranged it into the end zone, actually into the row.
Yeah, New York City just hasn't slept since their last game. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Are the Rutgers hats out?
Yeah.
In Queens, Kyle?
Everywhere, everybody's just like, "Yo, go Rutgers," or whatever they say.
Everybody doing their best James Gandolfini impression.
They see your Vols hat, like, thanks for Shiano, losers.
Never forget that dude. And why don't you got Greg Schiano, huh? Why didn't you like him, huh? He took Rutgers to he's only number 2 in the nation. What was it?
For context, me and Chris were at the Tennessee Vols Kansas game at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and there's this random guy that just sat beside us that he wasn't
An
a basketball
Oregon
fan.
football jersey.
He was just kind of just a random Joe Schmo from Staten Island who just saw, oh, there's a sporting event going on, and he just joined the sporting event.
Oh yeah, we love basketball. We love it. We come down every year for it. Hey, you're a Tennessee guy. Greg Schiano's down there in Chicago.
Exactly.
They didn't like that guy, huh? He was fucking great.
Oh man.
That's,
No, that was very enjoyable.
No, it wasn't.
That guy.
Future opponent Arkansas. What'd y'all think?
I ain't worried about him.
Matt.
We'll talk about Arkansas next week.
Yeah, this is bye week.
Florida
What did we
State.
think about...
Sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
Fine, I will defer to the collective wisdom of the council. What did you say, Florida State?
Florida State beat Cal.
Meme magic did not work, to my utter surprise.
It's kind of sad. Really wanted Cal to win.
It would have been very funny, but DJ Uliangalele being blind and still somehow winning a game.
Somebody explain to me where the N in his name comes from.
It's a cultural custom.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa. Uliangalele.
I
Okay.
recuse myself in this conversation.
Okay.
What's our quarterback's surname, Kyle? His last name?
Ia Maliava.
Maleava. Let's go.
I do love that we are becoming Vols.
Tennessee Tornado.
Would you like to give a shout out or explain to the listeners who may not have such in-depth knowledge?
Well, Kyle is a New York Big Brothers and Sisters representative, and he struck up a bit of a friendship.
Y'all want to talk about week 5?
What about it? Is it 5 already?
Yeah, let's talk. Okay, because I know this is going long or whatever. Let's go ahead and hop into this for a good chunk of the podcast. Pros and cons of Georgia winning, pros and cons of Alabama winning, best outlook for the Vols.
All right. I think I want Bama to win for 2 reasons. One, I don't think there's any way Bama's missing the playoff with their schedule. The only 2 games I think they have to worry about are us and Georgia. So they're more than likely going to go 10-2, so it doesn't really matter if they lose. Georgia's schedule is murderous. So if they lose to Bama, they could also lose to Texas. They could also lose to Ole Miss. They could also lose to us. So there's one team that could get knocked out of the playoff, which helps us, in my opinion. And the second reason is I want Bama undefeated when they come into Knoxville, and it's going to be just the scene of the century.
Caleb, that is so much better than you explained the other day. That's really good.
I'm not even going to talk about it now.
That feels almost irrefutable. Kyle, do you have a thought?
I mean, kind of the same. I think my other, just play devil's advocate, I love that, is Alabama comes in with 1 loss. I think they have a little bit of worry in them, like, oh man, we don't have Nick Saban. Like, we would actually be the higher seed in that game. I think it would be great to be number 3 Tennessee versus number 7 Alabama, number 8 Alabama. I think that would just be funny. But yeah, I mean, I can see both aspects of it. I do like the idea of Georgia taking a loss versus Alabama, and then Georgia taking a loss at Texas.
Yes.
And at Ole Miss and at Tennessee, this is good. 8-4 dogs.
8-4 Georgia. Yeah.
Just the vintage dogs that we got to love and know so well for so long. Part of me wants the Alabama, like, everybody there is confident, but in the dark recesses of their mind, they've got this guy is not Saban, and the first good trucking that Alabama takes.
Well, we can still give it to them.
We can. Could be us. Should be us.
It's not going to take much for Bama fans to turn on him, and don't have to. I'm not sure a loss to Georgia is going to be the thing that really
depends on the way they lose.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say on it is the what I kind of heard is game day is kind of deciding whoever wins, because Georgia Texas is on the same day as Tennessee Alabama, so whoever wins the Georgia Alabama game day is going to go with the winner. So if Georgia wins, game day is going to be at Georgia Texas. If Alabama wins, Tennessee Alabama is going to be game day.
Looks like Caleb wins.
Matt, who you cheering for?
Alabama is also the pick of Josh Ward. I don't know. I can't add anything after that.
No, that was expertly
I was like,
done.
okay, cool. Caleb's going first. We get the serious takeout. I'm like, now I'm just going to look like an idiot if I say anything. So, go.
Point number 3 I left off is that Georgia in recent years has been more annoying than Alabama. And I would like to see them lose for that reason.
Really, really good point also. I mean,
all right, so a little subplot to that question is depending on how they do the rest of the season compared to how we do versus the rest of the season, do you guys care in the pros and cons of us going to Atlanta for the SEC championship game?
I really, if we met, I mean, no, I don't think there's, I don't know. I really don't care if we go or not.
Yeah, I'm kind of
not going to be mad if we go. Like, there are people who seem like they're going to be mad if we make it. I will absolutely not be mad. Like, if we're the second best team in the SEC, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I agree with what someone said. Where like, I would rather 11-1 Tennessee go to SEC championship game, but I don't want a 10-2 Tennessee to go to championship game.
My only wish about the SEC championship game is that neither Oklahoma or Texas are in it. That's all.
Hard to disagree there, Matt. Yeah. They need to wait their turn.
Yes, sir.
Missouri got a boost going there. Does anybody remember that they went 2 straight years?
Yeah, maybe Texas will have that program path then. They'll get in it this year, next year, and then just go back to kind of sucking.
Maybe. That's a nice thought.
It is just possible that it's Bama and Georgia again, right? Like,
it could be any combination at this point.
Well, I don't know. Vandy might have played themselves out of it, but
R.I.P. Pavia.
What else we got in week?
In this cluster of, this is the top heaviest that the league's been in quite a while. Where are we in this cluster? The cluster of Alabama, Texas, Georgia, us, Ole Miss, and Missouri.
I think there's 4 or 5 teams that are at the top, and nobody knows how good they are. They're good, but nobody knows how good.
I mean, they've been moved. The goalposts have moved yet again for Tennessee that we ain't played nobody.
Yeah. And that's another thing. If Alabama loses to Georgia and then Tennessee beats Alabama, there's going to be like, well, we really don't know what Tennessee is until they see Georgia.
Alabama almost lost to South Florida.
Is it possible that we won't know if we're a good football team until like the national championship game?
We'll win the
Goodness.
national championship. And they're like, well, it was a really down year for the entire.
It was Jeff College sucked.
Kentucky at Ole Miss. They have a chance. Kentucky has a chance.
No.
No.
No, but my eyes will be glued to it nonetheless.
All right.
Do we think that Georgia is more the Georgia that machine gunned Clemson to death, or are they more the team that beat Kentucky by 1?
They're the first.
They are the first. Do you think that this was truly the usual?
I don't know. I mean, if they're national heritage good or not, but they always do that kind of crap.
Seasonal Georgia wasting disease for 1 game.
They just, they're going to come out and play good against Alabama.
Yeah. Is Hugh Freeze going to come out and play well against Oklahoma?
Oh, thank you for bringing up Hugh Freeze. This is great.
This really, really, really against the wall now.
No, I feel like they're going to that team's going to quit on him.
Thanks to Bo Wallace, Esquire.
Well, thanks to Bo and Hugh Freeze for just running the yapper constantly.
Yeah, that guy's an idiot. I don't.
That is incredibly kind, Matt.
I would feel bad for Auburn fans, but I don't. You won a national championship a few years ago. Sorry. Sucks to suck.
It is still so strange to my eyes. Like, I remember Auburn playing Alabama in 2017 when we were actively rooting for Butch to be fired here. And watching Auburn and their athletes and what they were doing, it looked like Auburn was playing a completely different sport than we were. And now it's completely flipped. I watched Auburn play Arkansas, and it looked like just a slapshod high school team. They looked small. They looked slow. They didn't look like they knew what they were doing at all.
My favorite stat was that Brian Harsin through 17 games was 9-8, and Hugh Freeze was 8-9. That's that's so funny. I'll tell you, the game that I'm gonna keep my eye on is Arkansas A&M. I think it's a fun little game. See what we got.
One of the funnier games year in and year out because Arkansas finds the most delicious ways to lose it.
It isn't a...
They hit the very tip top of an upright last year to do it.
How do you all remember this stuff? Like, goodness gracious.
There's an Arkansas beat reporter that does a post-game walk around the stadium, and it is just exquisite when they lose. It looks like the man has just watched his dog die. It looks like he just watched an autopsy of a family member. He's just walking around the stadium going like, I don't know what I believe anymore. I don't know. His name is Trey Biddy. He's fantastic. So every one of these Arkansas games is just a niche little bit of content that I enjoy. And when they lose that A&M game every single year in that stadium, it's why do we play this game? Why? But I do think Arkansas is better than A&M. Kind of hope they win so we get a potentially ranked match next week. And not a ranked match that their team is fighting for their coach's survival.
Very good point.
We'll say it again next week. Do y'all not any thoughts on what's coming up, guys?
No, I'm just excited. I'm just excited to watch the games and like just see how it helps Tennessee in the playoff hunt.
You just hope that everyone has fun and plays a good, clean game.
I mean, I'm just like I wish both Alabama and Georgia could just go into triple overtime and everybody get hurt and that they just cease to play football. But
this is not the official view of good old Rocky Pod.
Same. Need to put that in our byline somewhere. Northern Illinois at NC State
Oh,
is one
God.
that I'm looking forward to.
Poor NC State. That's so funny.
My goodness gracious. If anything, we underperformed.
I'm just going
Let's
with things.
revisit.
We broke them. We broke them.
I think you're right.
I do love
I think you're right.
classes, man.
All right. Any more Week 5 talk?
Louisville, Notre Dame is probably like Notre Dame's is on their path to trying to get back to being 11-1 and playoff berth. I think Louisville needs to win that game because there's no way Louisville is going to beat Miami or Clemson.
Illinois, Penn State.
Fun.
Yeah. Florida State, SMU.
Texas is only favored by 39 against Mississippi State.
My goodness gracious. Upset alert. Penn State, Illinois is going to be I'm not going to say must-see TV, but that will be very enjoyable. They were very, very surprisingly athletic against Nebraska. The Altmaier kid is really good.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Colorado at UCF post-hurricane.
There's a hurricane?
Is there, Matt?
Helene.
Is that how you say it?
I guess. How would you?
Helene?
Helene?
I was going Helen.
Helene.
Oh, I was saying Helene, but
Whoa!
Helene. Helene.
Okay, that legitimately threw me. I would not have- Colorado UCF is going to be fun. I wonder if Mac Brown quits when they lose to Duke.
Ooh.
I'm getting Mondays with Mac.
Ooh.
Mondays with Mac.
Ah.
Mac, we're very civil people. We'd love to have you on the show. There's a buffet beforehand.
All right, let's wrap this up. Chris, anything going up on good old Rocky blog?
We are cogitating. Please stay tuned. More videos to come on TikTok, Instagram, and all those other.
Yeah, everybody, please like them when we post this good stuff.
Yeah, if you all
Come on.
consume this podcast and don't follow us on social, Chris every week makes 1 or 2 videos that I like. The ones you made for that Florida game last year, I go back and watch that weekly. Your videos are incredible. Like, they're short, they're sweet, they're to the point, and they're awesome. Go check them out. Reward is hard work.
I've consistently told everybody that our podcast itself is nowhere near as good as the promo videos that we post for the podcast.
Yeah, because I have nothing to do with it. I know, right?
That's nothing. That's not true.
But yeah, please go check them out. Good old Rocky Pod on Twitter, on Instagram, and good old Rocky Pod 98 on TikTok.
I forgot
Still
about
got that password. But all right, who wants the last word?
Like, subscribe, out.
No, we can't pander for that stuff.
Yes, we can.
I
Like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm, guys. It helps the algorithm.